Good morning, everyone. I'm just giving a few minutes for everyone to get in. All right, it looks like we have everyone. Good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Janice Savini, and I am the Assistant Coordinator for Coastal Collaboration at the Partnership for the Delaware Estuary. This is a RASCL Coffee Hour. Today, we are going to be talking about the Tree for Every Delawarean initiative and Urban and Community Forestry Grant Program. Just a few reminders before we get started here. This is a tech review. I know we're old pros at this by now. But if you can't hear anyone, I'm going to be monitoring the chat throughout today's presentation. So feel free. If you have any problems, questions, I'm here. If you're new to RASCL or haven't been around in a while, this is our mission and our core issues. I'm not going to go ahead and read it. So here it is. This is here. Who we are. This is our RASCL steering committee. To see the full list of our participants, you can head to our website at derascl.org/whoweare. So that's enough about us. On to who you're here to see today. Today, like I said, we are going to be talking about the Tree for Every Delawarean initiative and the Urban and Community Forestry Grant Program. We have Katie Soriano from DNREC with us today and Keisha Bronskill from the Delaware Forest Service. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Katie.
Thanks, Jonna. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Can everyone see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Katie Soriano. I'm an environmental scientist with DNREC, and I would like to share with you a little bit more about the Tree for Every Delawarean initiative, also known as TEDI. So in support of Delaware's Climate Action Plan, TEDI was launched back in November of 2021 by Governor Carney. The initiative has a goal of planting at least one tree for every Delawarean, or approximately 1 million trees. And this initiative is a direct partnership between DNREC's Division of Climate, Coastal, and Energy and the Department of Agriculture's Delaware Forest Service. TEDI works with Delaware partners to support and enhance tree plantings throughout the state. It encourages, engages, and educates Delaware constituents, and it supports strategies outlined in the Delaware Climate Action Plan, more specifically strategies that enhance natural and working lands. So some of our partners, as mentioned, this is a direct partnership with the Delaware Forest Service, but we're also partnering up with interdepartmental divisions within DNREC and also conservation partners, nonprofits, and non-governmental organizations throughout the state. So if you're asking yourself why trees or why this initiative, well, trees are a nature-based solution to help fight climate change. They reduce greenhouse gases in the atmosphere through carbon sequestration and storage, and they provide shade for cooling, support wildlife, and offer recreational opportunities, and improve air, water, and soil quality. TEDI's vision is to cultivate a healthy Delaware that supports planting trees as a nature-based solution for recreation, wildlife habitat, climate mitigation, and the well-being of all Delawareans. To support this vision, we developed the TEDI webpage and tracker. The TEDI webpage is a one-stop shop for the public, giving them direct access to the TEDI tracker, which I will touch on in the next slide. It also includes additional resources for tree selection, planting, and care for anyone who's just starting off. And we also highlight volunteer and training opportunities through some of our conservation partners. And the webpage can be found at de.gov/TEDI. Along with the webpage, we developed the TEDI tracker. The TEDI tracker is a platform for data collection from independent and public tree plantings happening throughout the state. It's a tool used to involve the public, which I will explain more in just a moment. And it includes an up-to-date map of all tree plantings happening in Delaware, TEDI funded ones included. And it has a tree counter to track the progress of this initiative. Before I show you the tracker and the survey, I wanted to touch more about the tracker categories and what you'll be seeing on the TEDI tracker. So we have three main categories: organized plantings, independent plantings, and private plantings. First, in organized plantings, those show up on the map in orange. These are plantings coordinated by our TEDI partners. These are like larger scale reforestation, afforestation projects being conducted by state agencies and NGOs. And our partners directly record this data. And these plantings are shown on the map. Moving on to independent plantings, these will be shown on the map in green. These are plantings that are happening by individuals and private groups, mostly homeowners and business owners who are purchasing and planting trees on their own property. So it's citizen recorded data, and it is shown on the map. And I have a little tutorial, which I will show on the next slide. And then we have private plantings. These are not shown on the map, and they're coordinated by TEDI partners, projects that are happening on private lands, or it's data that's sensitive and may not want to be shared publicly. Partners, again, directly record this data, and it's not shown on the map, but the number of trees that are being planted in this category are being shown in the counter. So I wanted to give a little tracker tutorial. So if you wanted to get involved in this initiative and you have the means and property to purchase a tree and plant on your own property, you can log that tree and have it count towards this initiative. So you would first, after planting the tree, you would visit the webpage at de.gov/TEDI, go to the You Can Help section and click the version that best fits your device. You would track your tree by completing and submitting a short survey. Now I will take you to the webpage to give you a little demonstration and to show you all the resources we have on the webpage. So you go to de.gov/TEDI. So at the top of the webpage, we have our goal, what we were trying to do, and we have the tracker directly embedded into the webpage. Yes.
We can't see that screen, so it might have popped up on your second screen there.
Okay, what screen can you see?
You'll see the presentation tracker tutorial slide.
Okay, this. Do you see me moving my?
We still just see the tracker tutorial slide. Your presentation.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to reshare, bring you to the webpage. Okay, what can you see now? Okay, can you see everything?
Yep,
See the webpage.
we can see the webpage.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you for hanging in there with me. So since you did not see when I first came to the webpage, I'm just going to reiterate that at the top, we have just a brief description of our goal, and the tracker is directly embedded into the webpage. And I want to scroll past that just to show you that we highlight our partnership with the Delaware Forest Service. And we also include those resources that I was discussing: selecting the right tree, how to properly plant the tree, tree maintenance. And we also include direct links to the Urban and Community Forestry program And we highlight some of our partners and volunteer and training opportunities through their direct web pages. Scrolling back up, I will take us to the survey. Since I'm on a desktop, I would do the full screen version. There's also a mobile version, so if you're out in your yard, you can easily input it using your smartphone. So here's the tracker. On the left, you can see we have the counter in those 3 different categories that I touched on. The organized in orange, independent in green, and the ones that aren't shown on the map but are counted are those private plantings. And I want you to pay attention to this number. It's at 293 right now, and that will change since it is a live up-to-date map once we submit this survey. So in the middle, you have the map with all those pinpoints and dots of where plantings have occurred, and we're collecting data since 2020. On the right, we have a brief introduction, and then your first question is, where did you plant your tree? So you could either drop it as a dot on the map, or you can enter in an address. I'm just going to use our office address so I can remember to remove this pinpoint later. And then it's going to ask you, how many trees did you plant? We'll say 1. And then after that, it asks you some questions as to why did you plant your tree? There's a few different options. You can click all the ones that apply. So we have to provide shading, to attract birds. Was it for Earth Day celebration or in dedication of a loved one, or other? I'm going to do other and just put test. And scrolling down, you can also upload a photo of your tree if you would like to. And you can include contact information as well. Both of those are optional. Test as the name. Then I will submit. Then you get this little icon saying that congratulations, you did it. Refreshing the page so you can see your tree get added onto the map. Now we're at 294 in independent plantings. And if I zoomed in into the Dover area, that dot will appear at our office building. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the presentation. Please let me know if my screen stops being shared. Okay, can you see my screen?
No, we cannot.
The tracker.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why I'm having so many technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah, I see the screen.
Okay, thank you. So moving back to the presentation, I would like to highlight the TEDI's first year, which was fiscal year 2022. So these were for tree planting projects happening in the fall of 2021 and spring of 2022. We met with several conservation partners to gauge interest and funding needs for planting projects that they had in the pipeline. At the end of those conversations, we ended up partnering with 8 conservation partners in the state, which helped put approximately 100,000 trees in the ground. And these were happening in all 3 counties and state parks, wildlife areas, urban areas, and communities. And Keisha will talk more about the communities and urban areas. So looking ahead to fiscal year 2023, which started on July 1 of this year, just a couple weeks ago, we prepared for this next round of funding by developing a call for proposals, which is now closed. It was open for about 4 weeks to eligible applicants such as NGOs, state agencies, and DNREC divisions who were requesting money for trees and supplies for tree planting projects that were happening in fall of 2022 and spring of 2023. we were looking at larger reforestation, afforestation projects. Were they connecting forest areas or improving wildlife habitat? So we received 13 project proposals, and there is a TEDI review panel that is reviewing these applications and will be making funding decisions within the next few weeks. So in conclusion, TEDI is bringing communities together, involving the public in an important effort to address climate change, and is providing a better quality of life for all Delawareans. Thank you so much for your time. I can take questions now if anyone has some. Okay.
Have you considered
I'm
teaming
sorry.
up with the Arbor Day? Have you considered teaming up with the Arbor Day Foundation? I know that if you join them, you can get like 10 free trees for a small donation.
We have not partnered up with them currently, but it is something that we have been looking into. Okay, Dana has her hand up.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Thanks so much for your presentation. I'm very interested in this project. My name is Dana Verone. I'm from the University of Delaware, and I'm one of the co-directors of our newly launched Climate Change Hub. I'm curious I was just wondering if you could share more about if there's funding or plans for helping with the maintenance of these trees once they are planted.
That is definitely something that we are considering in future rounds of funding. And also, so not this round of funding, there was a lot of things that we had to consider and kind of like get this up off the ground. So those funding for maintenance was definitely like a year 3 or, down the line. But we've also have been speaking with UD's Master Naturalist program and the extension, and they have, we're in talks with them about how, maybe they could help us or assist us with some of those maintenance, monitoring those trees. So it's something that we are considering and definitely looking ahead in next rounds of funding.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For Dana, when you say maintenance, what do you mean? Watering, pruning? What exactly?
Well, trees are lovely when they are grown and provide shade and things like that, but they have maintenance, they have care for them. I mean, there's watering and things like that, but also once they get older, I mean, I'm a homeowner on a fairly wooded property. And so, my trees actually require trimming. There's branches that fall. There's, depending on where the trees go in, I mean, this is part of the initiative is, depending on where those trees go in, they may need maintenance, they may not need maintenance. I mean, I was just curious about it because I feel like in a rural setting, trees maybe don't need so much maintenance, but if we wanted to put them into an urban setting where maybe the shade impact would be larger, having trees around people then has some implied cost of the maintenance and care of those trees so that they don't become a hazard. So I was just curious about that.
Thank you, Dana. Okay, we'll move on to Kim. Has her hand up?
Hi, yes, thank you. Hi, Katie and Keisha. Thank you so much for the presentation today. I'm Kim Hatchadorian with the Nature Conservancy in Pennsylvania and Delaware. My question is also about funding, future funding. Just wanted to get it on my radar when like the next round of funding is going to be open, or when you're going to put out a call for proposals, for project proposals.
For TEDI, so our fiscal year for the state runs from July 1st to the following June 30th. So our call for proposals for fiscal year 2023 has closed. So we could probably anticipate putting another call for proposals out in the spring of 2023, kind of around the same. This year we put it out in June. Hopefully we can get it out a little bit sooner next year. And that is all dependent if we continue to receive funding.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna move on to Zoe.
Hi, thank you.
Hi.
I just wanted to know, for the privately planted trees that you had shown before, are any of those with companies, or are there any like formal corporate partnerships that you all have?
We do not have any formal corporate partnerships at the moment. And now that does not mean if a corporation has planted trees, they could definitely reach out, or they could put those trees in the tracker using the citizen survey. But as of right now, no, we don't have formal corporate partnerships, but that is something that we should explore.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Sheila has her hand raised. Sheila Smith, did you have a question?
Unmute. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was muted, of course. So I have a couple of questions. I put two of them in the chat, and one was, are you providing, I guess, ultimately, I'm wondering, are you promoting the use of native trees? And I apologize if you mentioned that. And also, if you have considered developing a toolkit for people, even if it's on your website, with lists of trees, appropriate, trees for different situations. And also that could be where you would included your care recommendations. So if you developed a, maintenance, care, and lists of appropriate trees for different situations on your website, I think people would find that very helpful.
Yes, thank you, Sheila, for bringing that up. I don't think I did touch on it in my presentation, but on the webpage there, we do have a few resources for trees. We do have a Delaware native species list, and then there's also a recommended tree list that was provided by the Delaware Forest Service on our webpage. But we could work on creating a list that is a little bit more user-friendly, and what you were mentioning about, the shade requirements, soil requirements, and things of that nature. So we will be working on putting a list like that up as well.
Okay.
Well, I will chime in that Katie probably didn't mention it, but on your website also, Katie, and on ours are tree maintenance resources. So be sure to take a look at both of the websites, and there's opportunity there to learn more about maintaining your tree, how to properly plant a tree, and as she mentioned, some of the species recommendations.
Okay. So I'm an educator, and so I'm thinking if those are links, that's all well and good, but if it's actually create pages that, that you go to tree care and then people open it up, just making it really user-friendly. It's surprising you find people who want a tree really know nothing. They really know nothing, have never planted a tree before, and they may be definitely inspired to do so, but they need a lot of help. And I'm speaking from experience with a tree giveaway that the city of Newark did recently. And that's just a suggestion. Rather than give people just links, give them pages that are complete, that tell them what they need to know, that printable page that they could perhaps access.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Sheila.
thank you. Yeah.
Some of those links are printable actually, so that'll be good. And we also have actual hard copies of a lot of those resources. If you need them, we can get them to you. So you just, make sure you reach out to us. We can make sure that you have some that you can share with your students.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheila. I'm going to move on to Joy.
Hello. I just had a question about how independent
planters can find out about TEDI, if there's like any promotions going on social media, or how you do outreach with the communities other than the website?
That's a really great question. So DENREC, our division of Climate, Coastal, and Energy, does have some social media handles on Facebook and Twitter. So there has been some social media presence with TEDI on Facebook and Twitter. There were some posts through Earth Day, and I believe when we did the kickoff event. Now with us coming out of COVID, and this program being fairly new, we have not had a lot of opportunities to do in-person outreach events, but that is hopefully changing in the fall. We are working on marketing and educational materials right now, like brochures, displays, banners, and little giveaways that we are hoping to have ready for the fall. We have some fall events lined up, so we're also trying to do outreach through those events, and also with our partnership with the Delaware Forest Service. We're hoping that through this partnership that word is also getting out through them as well when they go into these communities and do their outreach events too.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any more hands raised or any more questions in the chat box. So I'm going to pass it on over to Keisha, who's going to talk more about her program. So take it away, Keisha. Thanks, everyone.
Go ahead and share. I want you guys to let me know if you see my screen.
Yep, looks good.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, everybody. Some names look familiar, so you may have heard me present this information before, but I am happy to see a lot of names that I don't know. My name is Keisha Bronskill. I'm with the Delaware Forest Service Urban and Community Forestry Program, and I am the program coordinator for the state. So this program is one of 4 programs in the Delaware Forest Service out of the Department of Agriculture that specifically caters to community, your open spaces, your backyards, your streets, your parks. So anything, outside of maybe your traditional large scale wooded areas and forest lands. So I'm the urban forester, and there's 2 of us on our staff for this program that work throughout the state. And our program provides technical assistance to your communities. And we also provide special or public awareness, educational training. And I'm not going to dive too deep into that today, but we really do offer all sorts of training opportunities from, K through adult as it relates to trees, tree care, tree planting, all the things. So if that's, one of the folks, I think it was Sheila, that asked the question, if you're really interested in diving deeper around that public awareness and educational training, certainly let's have a conversation. But mainly today, I was going to focus on the financial assistance piece, which is like that 3-pronged approach that we have as a focus in our program. So we provide financial assistance, and we have really for the past 20 plus years in this program, and that financial assistance goes to the communities in Delaware, the citizens in Delaware. So this is just a screenshot, and I think I might have taken it a year or so ago, so it's not quite up to date. But if you go on our website, which is there at the bottom of the screen, you'll find this dashboard. And this dashboard is an outward-facing tool for folks to see how much funding that we've provided to communities throughout Delaware, to see where those projects are throughout Delaware, and to know that those projects are for tree plantings as well as tree maintenance projects over the course of the past 20 plus years. And the reason why I show you this is because this is exactly, this was a natural way for us to be partners with this new initiative, this TEDI initiative from the governor out of the climate section of DENREC. It just really was a natural fit for us to partake in such a great opportunity and to build awareness around tree planting and tree maintenance, because we've been doing it for quite some time and providing that funding to communities. So you'll see that in this particular graphic, I just wanted to highlight two things really, in that you'll see that we have a little box there that says remaining trees. And that's because we go back and verify over the course of time to see if those trees are still doing well. So that number may seem kind of small, but we are also kind of tracking tree survival over time. Okay, so yeah. What I wanted to do is also go through this process of our program. So we have a grant program, it's open annually. And right now it's open annually. We would love to move to a more rolling application process, but that, with a small capacity, and we're kind of working that through with our council, our urban council, which is an advisory council, as well as our staffing. So currently we offer an annual grant program for tree planting and tree maintenance. And maintenance could look like inventory, or it could look like hazard tree removal or hazard pruning. And this all takes place on public space. So, street trees, open spaces, parks. We are a federally funded program. So at this time, we do not provide any funding to private landowners or your yards or anything like that. We are always looking for creative ways, though, to partner with other entities so that we can try to get trees planted on private land. So, that's something that we're always willing to kind of talk about. But as far as this program goes, all of our funding goes toward open spaces and public lands. And since it is a federally funded program, we have to match every dollar that we provide. So we ask that our communities match these grants 1-to-1, and that the projects, like I said, take place on public land. When we enter into an agreement with a community that is planting trees, we make sure that they have a federal ID number, ID number, and that's how we reimburse, because this is a reimbursement grant. So this isn't something that we fund upfront. We want to see that the community is invested. They will fund the project, and then they get reimbursed for the grant award amount. So what we do initially is we do a site visit, and this takes place prior to submission of the application, because we really want to make sure that you have a successful project. So we require a site visit ahead of time. And that's where we have the opportunity to make recommendations on species and placement and that kind of thing, and answer any questions. These applications are reviewed by a selection committee, and that is our Urban and Community Forestry Council. And that council is an advisory council to our program. So our council will meet and review all the applications, and then make their selections. And we're limited by funding. We usually have a lot of ask versus the amount of funds that we can actually disperse. And so that's yet another reason why partnering with the TEDI initiative was a good one, because we were able to kind of supplement our core funding for this program to kind of make those dollars stretch and fund more projects. So just to give you a kind of a timeline, and you know, when I say communities, just know that I mean, you know, this is HOAs, this is nonprofits, this is municipalities. You know, the folks that can apply to this grant could be, you know, like I said, a community, but also, you know, a school or a cemetery, anywhere where there's public access. So this is the timeline kind of for this grant application. So we're asking that communities, they organize their project way ahead of time. So be thinking about, you know, what your needs are and what you'd like to see. You know, we open this grant application in January every year, and the closing date is usually early March, so that the council can make their selections and folks can start to plant in spring. But waiting till January isn't the best time to have us out to look at a potential project. Now is perfect. Now is awesome. So organize that community project now so that we can come out and take a look and kind of offer some recommendations ahead of time. And then that gives you the opportunity to kind of refine those details as you get closer to the call for applications. We typically request 3 bids for projects. However, we found that especially at the height of COVID and during this time of COVID, communities were having trouble with getting 3 bids. So the council did agree to 2 bids this past year, and so that was the requirement. And I foresee it being that way for at least for 2020. The application is all online. When the application opens, it's there's a link, and it's completely an online application, an online submission. So uploading your bids, uploading a map of the location, uploading a species list, that kind of thing. So everything would be taking place online from our website at that time. And then, like I said, it gives time for the council to review and score those applications in March, so that communities get awarded and notified late March, early April, in case they have a early spring planting. So prior to them planting and doing their project, they enter into an MOU with us at the Forest Service, so that we're assured that everybody does their project and they stick to the plan of doing their project and not deviate from that plan that was in their application to begin with. And like I mentioned, updating the W-9 online so that when the time comes for reimbursement, it's a smooth process and there's no hiccups in getting your funding. The community does the project. So that could be, you know, hiring a contractor to plant the trees or do the work, or it could mean a volunteer project. It could be, you know, a volunteer effort in your community to plant those trees. And once those trees are planted and the project is complete, there is some closeout details that need to be submitted to us so that we know you're done and you're ready to receive your funding. And at that time, we go out and do an audit to verify that the project is done, the species are there, things are properly planted. And in some cases, depending on what the project is, we may be there. I mean, depending on the project, we might be present to help plant those trees as well. So it really can be flexible. So just to give you a really quick idea of kind of projects that we did that were TEDI funded in spring 2022. So these were the ones that just took place this past spring. Lakeshore Village Community West in Kent County planted 3 trees in their open space. The Hun Park, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Hun property, which was turned into a county park here in Kent County. They just did a Earth Day, Make a Difference Day, I think it's called, tree planting this past spring. They planted 50, I think it was 52 trees. The meadows at Beaver Creek down in Sussex County planted a bunch of trees that I'll highlight here on the one of the next slides. The reserves at Lewis Landing, also in Sussex County, planted 24 trees, and Sawgrass Community planted 31 trees, also in Sussex County. And these were just the ones that were TEDI funded. Now, there were other tree plantings, obviously, that took place this year, but I really thought it was great that we were able to, through TEDI's funds, able to fund these projects. Because like I said, we really have to get creative as state agencies to kind of, make our dollars stretch. So this was a great, this is just an idea of some of the plantings that were, that took place in communities. But like I said, the meadows at Beaver Creek, they were awarded for not 50,000, that'd be awesome though, $5,000 to plant 50 trees in their open space. And what I really thought was really cool about their project is, like I mentioned before, we have a match component, right, to our grant. So what they did for their match, because the match can be cash or it can be in kind, what they decided to do as a community was to match with trees. So they planted an additional 91 trees in their community as match. So it brought their number up to 141 trees planted over throughout their community. And they weren't the only community to do that this year, which I thought was good. Another community in Milford did that, which was funded through it's a good way to make the dollar stretch, as well as increase tree canopy, which is what our main goal is. As I mentioned, these are communities that have applied for a grant, but you can also be a nonprofit, right? So nonprofit municipalities, HOAs. So just to give an example, this was one that was done last year, but I just wanted to share. This happened within the Chesapeake Bay watershed, because we do have separate funding for that, to plant trees. And this was Changing Fates Equine Rescue. They were awarded $5,000 to plant 12 trees in horse pastures, because they really want to try to increase the canopy there within their horse pastures. So they got a volunteer base together to plant these trees, and then they built fencing around the trees to kind of protect them as they mature. Then for a municipality example, I wanted to highlight the town of Bowers Beach as a coastal community. They last year, just this past fall, planted 22 trees in their Waterman's Park. And again, the community came together for this municipality to plant these trees on I think it was an early Sunday morning. And a lot of those trees did really well. Some of those trees didn't make it because I guess it was about less than a week later, there was a really bad storm, and some of those trees didn't make it, but they're being replaced. And that's just kind of the nature of new tree planting, and it's an unfortunate thing, and especially being a coastal town. But the thought is that this is a great initiative, and it's a great opportunity for folks to get together and work together to better the community. One other quick thing I wanted to share was that we have this tool, and it's an opportunity for citizens to kind of see what their tree canopy is in their communities. It's on our website. If you haven't seen it already, it's a tree canopy tool, community tree canopy tool. And basically you can type in, this is just a screenshot, but you can type in your community name, and it'll give you a percentage of what your tree canopy is. And it's a good management tool, kind of to get an idea of where the need is and what your management goals could be. The data that is there will be updated here pretty soon. I'm not a GIS specialist, but from what I understand, we do have some updated aerial imagery that should be coming up here soon. So we'll be getting even better numbers here in the near future. And the last thing I'll say is just a quick plug for our Delaware Tree Stewards program. It's a volunteer-led program. We just kind of started this right in the height of COVID. We had to move it more to a virtual platform, but we'd love to really make it a more in-person training, which is what it was originally designed to be, about tree care, tree maintenance, and organizing tree projects by citizens. And the goal, as always, is to build tree canopy in our communities. And we want to do that through community involvement. With us being just 2 people in our agency, it's a goal to have many people throughout our state trained in how to properly care for trees, how to properly plant trees, how to properly mulch trees. So if you are interested in taking the training and becoming a tree steward, I know we have at least one on the call here today. Please do check out our website and also give us a call or email, contact us, because like I said, it's an opportunity to kind of expand these tree planting projects throughout the state so that things are planted properly and trees survive. We do have some upcoming trainings, and we're hoping to do that here in the next, or post that, I should say, in the next month or so. So hopefully early fall, we'll have our next training if you're interested. And with that, here's my contact information as well as my coworker, Taryn Davidson, and then again, our website. So if you have any questions, I will and take those. Also, I wanted to touch base on a couple of questions that were for Katie as far as the funding for for private versus public. I think I mentioned that, we're always looking for ways to fund private tree plantings, doing tree giveaways for folks that want to plant trees in their yards. So just be on the lookout for that. We also, at least for us at Forest Service, we have partnered multiple times with Delmarva Power for tree plantings, which is really awesome. They've been really generous about giving trees. And I think I already touched base on the resource question for Sheila.
Keisha, we do have some questions in the chat. And certainly, Katie, if you have anything to add as well. So the first question is there a way to track the outcome and results connected with planting trees and other tools for reversing the impacts of climate change?
Is there ways to track outcome and results? Yeah, I'm sure there is. We don't have any tools right now. I mean, nothing available to the public, but there are tools out there. I'm not sure about the climate part. I know that we do provide reports for the TEDI funded projects to our climate partners that we use. iTree, if you're familiar with the iTree software, there's that tool. I guess you're asking, Timothy, because you'd like to use it, or you might want to check out iTree. Wilmington street trees are eligible. Yes, absolutely. And we've done lots of tree plantings up in the Wilmington area. So if you have something in mind, certainly reach out to us. Tree canopy data is available for most communities. Okay, yours wasn't found, then I'm not sure. Like, if you live in a HOA maybe, or maybe you live someplace very rural, I think I would need more there. And high school students can become tree stewards. Certainly send me an email and talk about that.
And it looks like Sheila has her hand up.
Okay, go right ahead.
Oh, what was the website for the tree canopy information? Did you? Like, if I wanted to look up the tree canopy like somebody else did, can you repeat the information? Where is it? Is that on the Forest Service or on the?
It is. Hold on here, because I'm not good at more than one thing at a time. I'm trying.
Is it Delaware Trees?
It's Delaware Trees, but it's HTTPS.
Got it. I'm going to take a picture of it. Somebody put it up, so I'm going to take
Trying
a
to
picture
copy
out.
right now and paste. It won't let me copy.
Okay, is it DelawareTrees.com tree canopy?
Oh, that's not it. I'm trying to
That's not. Oh, that's not it.
second.
Okay.
It's not like. Yeah, we've moved to a. There you go. So
Oh,
Delaware
okay.
Trees is still active as a website, but we're moving to our department website. So we're kind of not rebranding, but we're trying to kind of point people in the proper place from now on.
Okay.
So it's de.gov/Delaware Trees.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Problem. And my email is keisha.bronskill@delaware.gov. Sorry, not .com.
Okay. Are there any last questions before we wrap up today? Okay, well, seeing none, I just want to thank Katie and Keisha again for being with us today. Thank you all for sharing a little bit of your Friday morning with us, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.